Well, here we are back in Mittenrahm, in the Brakenrahm. The modifications to the end dial are still ongoing. It's not going too bad. I do have unanswered questions still, but for the most part, I think it's just a case of just chiseling away at the extent of the work. So we'll obviously take a look at the big edition. This wasn't even hinted at, I think, last time. And yeah, so I used the fill command to place a bunch of cubic shapes of just the blue concrete, I think it is. They were approximately squarish, and it was used to create all three. And then I've basically been working them over in just chiseling away. Bits and pieces have obviously been added, but generally speaking, you're looking at this was like that was the edge of the block. The other edge was under here, and then another edge was here, I think, or maybe about here. So I've added a little bit to bring it out, and then carved away the rest. Dug out the middle, and yeah, I feel like it went reasonably well in terms of delivering what I'd had in mind. Perhaps not entirely happy with the partially dead reef. I had planned to bring it across. It would sort of hang off the edge a little bit. I mean, like it is. And then it would be picked up here again. And when I decided I would include this skeleton, I think the original plan was it would be back here, and then it would be possible then to bring the reef around. But some adjustment has occurred of what's going on here. The islands have been shaded to imply that they are going lower in terms of how deep in the water, or perhaps more accurately, this is this floor seabed. This is part of the seabed connected to the cavernous area beneath, and then this is almost none of the original seabed. It's become open, obviously, with whatever happened here. So the skeleton is heavily based on a sea turtle. It was the main reference I was using, mostly to get an idea about how the internal structure looked. Not that I used it a great deal. There's some traces of it. A bit of the pelvis, and the legs inside, some shoulder blades, and then the arms coming down, and the ribs. I took liberties, mostly to try and get it to work. Pleased with the flippers. I mean, this is literally laid out as I put it down. The only thing that was altered was bringing in the coloration, or the discoloration of the bones. And it's obviously not an actual sea turtle. The head is just like a dragony, more of a dragon head. It is literally a dragon turtle, that's the idea. With his big long tail coming down. I think I have mentioned some of this in previous videos, but the wildlife of the end was no longer able to exist in its form at the moment of the cataclysm that ended the end. So big things like this died off. No way to sustain them in the new environment. The coral reef is in the process of dying. The upper parts are only being kept alive by the remains of the ether. I think I would like to have maybe come back a layer. It's very narrow. The other coral reefs I've done, they're deeper. There'd be at least 2 layers. Some of the corals would be laid out to go backwards, as where these have all kind of mostly gone in a little bit side to side. Not sure what I'll do about that. Unfortunately, because it's not underwater, there's limits on things like I can't have seagrass and kelp growing. Well, I mean, there are probably ways around this. I think kelp needs actual water around it. It has to be waterlogged or it won't grow. But yeah, it's obviously not exactly what we would think of. Though, I mean, this was water. This is what became of the water. This is the most sacred water. It's got the most infused with the ether. So it's why it's static like this and hasn't disappeared completely. And then underground we've got the only remaining water in the entire end. So feelings about the mushrooms. Took a while to come up with a reasonable colour scheme I was reasonably happy with. I feel like it ends a little bit too evenly, like it's literally just a layer of yellows above the orange. Could probably do with doing something about that. You know, just making it a little more lopsided. But yeah, these were actually done by hand. There's no fill command used to place these. The bit of it that's actually big enough for it to be deep is actually hollow. Because of that, I did have to come along and lower it. This was lowered 1 or 2. I think I lowered the bottom 2, but the top only went down by 1. And then this was lowered by 3. I think you can't actually do any more. Yeah. So, I'm not happy with the pink. I haven't used it very well, is the problem. I think it needs to be a little, maybe more just focused, splotches of something. For some reason this little island seems to have done it better, and I wonder if it's the darker brown. Maybe the granite stands out more and looks like it's part of the what is actually cherry wood and white terracotta. I don't know. I will have to play with it a little more. So I did move though from this onto this. Swapped out the paler green for the brighter greens, and then stuck in this streak of blue using diamond. As the survival and hardcore players would say, that's an expensive piece of decoration. And I'm kind of okay with it. I actually gone through and added some of the green wool that I was reluctant to use originally to the previous existing stuff. The brown marks do work in some places. Yeah, it depends how much I'm using. This little underhang, perfect. This works quite well too. But the smaller stuff, I think this needs... I mean, I've already toned it down twice. It may just need to go even further. And just see if I can stick to including just these streaks. I'm going to put some spikes in, try and kind of infer that this sort of structure maybe went on further, through in a couple of spikes through the end stone, maybe, you know, try and imply that. Although these probably would have broken off by now. It's been a couple of thousand years since the damage was done to the end. But it's still a few thousand years before the player would come here. Now, I don't know if I talked about this in the last video. I think I may have done, because I came to the conclusion that, like the trees, which are chorus trees and would eventually evolve into the chorus plant, and better suited to the destroyed end, these are shulkers. They would attach to a surface, soak in the ether, get bigger and bigger, become unable or simply not teleport around anymore. And now in the new environment, they can't get this big, so they're staying smaller. Being smaller is allowing them to move. And I did want to represent this. This stick of purple was here last time, and has now been transformed. I'm not happy with the colours because it's too spread. I'm literally going like 1, 2, 3, 4 different colours, and then it switches back to this one. That's magenta. It's overall not too bad. I'm thinking about moving it. I think I'm definitely going to have to move this one. I don't know, I just don't like it now. I'm probably going to bring it down here. Attach it here maybe. And then maybe a third one here. Although I'm still toying with moving this one as well. But it does work a little better, I have to say. I think he's okay there. This still needs work. You know, I've got these streaks in, but there's still this vast areas. I may go with the original idea of putting in the yellow, using the yellow concrete again to just do these streaks. Undecorated, it won't be done like this. But yeah, I've still been playing with how to do the edges, or just put some highlights on the edges. There's, as I said at the beginning, there's still questions unanswered. Still things to work out. But that's enough talking for me. Entirely too much talking for me. Probably going to have to trim this a little bit. But I still say adieu and try and struggle through some of these things I talk of.